For lesson 226, I'm trying to perfect my Professor Snape hair. All right. I like this lesson better than yesterday's lesson. My home awaits me. I will hasten there. 226. If I so choose, I can depart this world entirely. It is not death which makes this possible, but it is change of mind about the purpose of the world. So this one vibes harder today. If I believe it has a value as I see it now, so will it still remain for me. But if I see no value in the world as I behold it, nothing that I want to keep as mine or search for as a goal, it will depart from me. For I have not sought for illusions to replace the truth. So, yeah, don't let it slide you into disillusionment and depression, but can you start to see that this world holds nothing for you? Father, my home awaits my glad return. Your arms are open and I hear your voice. What need have I to linger in a place of vain desires and of shattered dreams when heaven can so easily be mine? So that's lesson 226. If I so choose, I can depart this world entirely. I'll probably say that a lot today at work. If I so choose, I could depart this world entirely. So what does this mean? This means that definitely, we think we want a lot of things in this world. We think we want to do a lot in this world. We want to leave a mark in this world. We want to go to amusement parks in this world and stay in this world. What type of glitter has this world smeared on things for you to think that you want it? So anyways, that's something to reflect upon. 226, my home awaits me. I will hasten there. If I keep thinking this world has value, it will remain for me. So whatever you believe to be true will be true. Like if you believe that this world's it, right? It still remains for you. You still value it. But if you want to let it go, then you remove the value. So why would you want to do that? For I have not sought for illusions to replace the truth. So this is a pretty big lesson. 226. Father, my home awaits my glad return. So it's really just what you want to focus upon. Tina Jesus for lesson 226 said, what you are truly seeking is a true evaluation of the world and all its temptations. Not that you want to fall into disillusionment or fear, depression, or isolation by thinking this world offers you nothing. You want to seek a true evaluation of all the temptations. So all these illusions are to tempt you into staying in the world the ego made. And as you stay here for a few decades, as Tina Jesus put it, you lose the allure. The world loses the allure. The world that the ego made, the illusions, the temptations, they lose their shininess. And it's time for you to override the world by focusing on love and going home. Everyone's going home because you are spirit by nature. You can prolong it or take the long road home, but you are going home. So choose love, forgiveness. Know that you are holy and divine and you deserve happiness. So seek a meaningful and purposeful life, following your creativity, knowing that you are spirit by nature. So this past weekend, we went to Knoebels and talk about an ego-made world, the best place on earth, right? There's rides and food and fun and this and that. And I do remember thinking, oh, this is crazy. Because to me, like, I don't know. I don't get captured in a lot of that stuff easy. So I become very much aware that I am not allured by any of this. And, sometimes that can feel bad in the ego's world, because you feel almost like I feel like the ego makes you feel guilty for not enjoying its creations. Like, what more could you want? The crazy ego wanting to keep you here, wanting to keep you asleep. That movie, The Labyrinth, where the girl is in it's not her bedroom, but it's really in like the trash heap. Do you remember that part? But it has everything that she would think that she would want, a replication of her real home. And, they're trying to keep her happy in this room so she doesn't realize where she's at, and she breaks free and she looks around, she's in the trash heap, and it's like, no, 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 here's your things, like, stay happy, stay asleep, stay in here, don't realize where you are. But then she does realize where she is and she wants to go home. So in a lot of ways, we're waking up and we think, I don't freaking belong here at all. Like, because you are by nature spirit. You're not of this world. You're just here for a wee bit. So quite the lesson, quite the doozy. Like I said, these little lessons for the next few days are just little half a pages. But if you really start to think about them and, evaluate, a true evaluation of the world and all its temptations. So that's you stepping back with your Slytherin hair and thinking, what truly makes me happy? What am I just trying to attain things that the ego world tells me that I should have, and that I want more money, more this, more bodies. That's what Jesus said, more money, more bodies, a bigger house. Like, you just think you want this stuff, but you really don't. So it starts to lose its allure. But then that's when the ego kind of trips you up into guilt and depression. And then what's the point of life? And there's nothing I want here, and I'll just be isolated. That's not what you want to do. I've done that. Don't do it. Try to seek a meaningful and purposeful life instead, with true happiness, the connecting to the divine connection, going vertical. That's what we want to do. But there's a little bit of balance and, discovering how to do that. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook, Lesson 226, Insights. My home awaits me. I will hasten there. If I am unhappy, depressed, resentful, or angry, it is because in some way I am dissatisfied with what I believe about the circumstances I am in. The key word here is believe. What I believe determines what I perceive. Being unhappy with my circumstances means that at some level I believe that if what I perceive as outside me were to change in some way to my liking, I would be happy. To believe this, I must believe that I am separate from what appears to be outer circumstances. Attempting to change the outer circumstances to make me happy is a way to avoid making the one change that will truly bring me happiness. To experience the happiness given me by God, I must let go of the belief that I am separate. Trying to change what appears to be an outer world simply reinforces my belief in separation. The outer world seems real to me because at some level, I value separation. Most of the time, I do not recognize it as valuing separation. It may show up disguised to look like something else. I might want someone to show respect for me so that I will feel more valuable. I might want nice clothing so that I will look good and be acceptable to others. There are myriad ways of looking outside for specialness to give us a sense of worth because we have rejected the value given us by God when we decided to separate from Him. Someone who is so depressed that they are suicidal might say, "I see no value in this world. I want to end it all." But they are really saying, "I see no hope in getting the outer circumstances the way I want them, so I want to escape." The ego loves this reasoning because it avoids looking at the core belief that is the source of the problem. To find the happiness that is our inheritance, we must let go of valuing the belief in separation from love. We must let go of valuing specialness. When we cease to value thinking we are separated from love, we escape the world entirely because the whole world we see is just the effect of valuing separation. As we give up the ego's use for the body, we open to the Holy Spirit's use for the body. When we value then, what we value then, is the love we see in all our brothers and likewise in ourselves. Here is where we welcome God's open arms. Here is where we recognize our unity with all. Here is where we experience the joy of love flowing without end or limitation. We can make that choice in any moment and experience the peace and joy of God. We can walk the world in peace and joy, knowing we are at home in love. Jesus reminds me in this lesson that I return home as I change my mind about the purpose of the world. The world was created to reinforce separation. My change of mind involves letting go of believing in separation and returning to my home, which is oneness. In oneness, there is no division anywhere. Oneness is total joining and sharing of all with all. Oneness is being united in love. Returning to oneness in my mind is how I leave the world of separation. The Course tells me not to believe in what the body's senses show me, for the body was made to be the instrument for perceiving separation. The lessons of the Course help me practice looking past separated bodies to the one light of God that is everyone's true essence. The Course reminds me that nothing has changed since we were created by God. God created us all as love, and we remain love eternally. What God did not create does not exist, and so separation does not exist. My opportunity now is to reinforce the truth and not the false belief in separation. My opportunity now is to return home to oneness. My home awaits. I will hasten there. What need have I to continue to believe in separation when I know it is not true? Separation is an attack on the truth of oneness, and it does not bring me happiness. My opportunity now is to lay this unhappy dream down and open my mind to the awareness of love's presence, which is always there. What a happy opportunity I have today, and it has nothing to do with changing something in the outside world. It all happens in my mind. Today, do I choose to join with the ego or with the Holy Spirit? As I choose, so I will receive. As I receive, so I will give. A couple of months ago, I went to my regular Monday night course study, and it was so fulfilling that when I left the building, I felt like I'd been literally lifted up. I actually felt light on my feet. I was able to sustain that feeling into the next morning when I woke up and I greeted the day with joy and happiness, feeling very connected to my source. It wasn't until I was driving home later that day that I realized that sometime during the day I'd lost that uplifted feeling. I remember a feeling of sadness, a sense of sadness, when I realized I was back in this world, back in the insanity, my feet firmly planted on the worldly ground. I think this is what the lesson means when it says, I can depart this world entirely. Sometimes I think we have resistance when the Course uses words like departing because we think of dying or leaving our loved ones. I can't describe what it was I felt for that, unfortunately, short amount of time, and I haven't been able to get it back since, but it's the very thing that gives me hope and makes me realize it is possible to be in this world, but not of it. That day, the shift back to this world snuck up on me because when I look back, I don't know when I lost it. Sometimes I wonder if maybe my ego self wasn't comfortable with that alien feeling and I intentionally let it go. Whatever the case, I believe the constant practice of these lessons strengthens my willingness to open myself to go home and hasten there. Today's lesson reminds me of a message by Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see. It is not what's outside that needs changing, but my thoughts within. Then my journey home need not be so hastened. Thank you, Holy Spirit. pathwaysoflight.org. Yep. So which world are you focusing on? Like being in this world but not of this world because you're so happy and blissed out? Easier said than done, but then wouldn't it be nice? Just entertain the idea of being at peace and connected to home, to God, to source, letting all things go, forgiving, not being so governed by the ego desires, just being happy and connected. So that is a very nice thought for sure. Will the shiny things of the world lose their allure for you? Have they already? How many decades did it take? It took me a solid 4 decades to really think about maybe chasing something else, chasing true purpose, chasing a meaningful life, chasing temptations, tracing. Yeah, and sometimes that's what people do. It's like they're just tracing because they're chasing temptations, tracing a life that they just seen a picture of somewhere else. It's not even maybe what they want. They're just trying to copy what they've seen on TV or what they think they're supposed to want or what everybody else has. Everyone's just gauging everyone else's life, and then we're just copycat and tracing temptations, chasing idols. So what does a true, meaningful, purposeful life look like to you? What does it feel like to you? So that's some things to think about as we do lesson 226. My home awaits me. I will hasten there, buddy. I'm going. If I so choose, I can depart this world entirely. That does not mean blowing my head off. That does not mean dying today. That means putting down illusions. It is not death which makes this possible. but it is change of mind about the purpose of this world. The ego will make you think it's death because the ego would rather kill itself than you wake up from this dream, because it wants you to come back. So changing my mind about the purpose of this world. If I believe it has a value as I see it now, if I believe this stuff really matters, if I believe I have to put another coat of paint on my house because that's just what I have to do, it will remain still for me. It will still remain for me. I will solidify this world of illusions the more value I put on it. But if I see no value in the world as I behold it, nothing that I want to keep as mine or search for as a goal, it will depart from me. For I have not sought for illusions to replace the truth. This is that catch point for me, because I can easily let everything go to shit, right? Or let it go, or not think I care about anything. But I have to watch it doesn't put me in depression and despair. So, Father, my home awaits my glad return. Your arms are open and I hear your voice. What need have I to linger in a place of vain desires and of shattered dreams when heaven can so easily be mine? So yeah, I would say if I had a prayer request for the Holy Spirit, it would be to help me that little transition point. Like, okay, I will quit valuing, stingers and beautiful things, but help me get to a meaningful, purposeful experience. Because if I'm not like switching over, I get sucked back into the ego's thought system of guilt and isolation and depression. I'm very good at it. So we need the Holy Spirit to hold our hand into the purpose-filled, the purpose-driven, the heavenly, blissed out connection, lighted life. Anyways, that's that. If you're following along, even 40 more decades into the future, let me know how it's going for you.